Hello everybody, Tornado Soup here. How's it going? In recent years, Jonah Jameson has gone through several different reinventions. From giving up his post as editor-in-chief of the Daily Bugle to becoming mayor of New York City to now running a podcast. These reinventions are changing the way that he interacts with the rest of the world of Spider-Man. And for a lot of reasons, it makes sense. For the most part, especially in the public eye, print media is dying. Whether this is good or bad, it is. And so, the Daily Bugle is naturally going to have less of an impact on Spider-Man. And in order to keep things modern, to make sure that it feels current, Jameson needs to evolve. He needs to find new ways to interact with Spider-Man so that he stays relevant to the character. Because he's always been relevant to the character. He first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1, and instantly his impact was visible. He was already slandering Spider-Man's name because Spidey was trying to save his son, or something. It was kind of weird. Jameson has always been kind of weird. But throughout all of these reinventions, his core character traits have remained, for the most part, the same. Yes, he's brash, he's kind of arrogant, he's pretty much a jerk, but there's something in him, something more meaningful, something more heartfelt. He is a good guy, just he doesn't always know how to show that. He doesn't always know what to say, and he trips over his own words, and he will never admit that he's doing so. But he wants what's best for him, for not just himself, but for his family, his friends, and his city. This is especially apparent when he's mayor, or when he gave over ownership of the Daily Bugle to the struggling front lines run by Ben Urich and Robbie Robertson. More heartfelt Jameson moments can be seen in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 655 during the funeral for his second wife, Marla. And there are plenty of others, especially when he's interacting with his father, or any time that really seeing his past. He is a somewhat deep character. He's been developed, and as much as he's portrayed as a villain, he's not really. He's a jerk for sure. He's obstinate and an obstacle for Spider-Man's good faith in the eyes of the people, but he is a good person, and he's trying to be a good person. He's a journalist. For the most part, he doesn't let fake news get in the way. The only time it's ever really a problem is when it's with Spider-Man. Any other time, he wants the truth to get out. And even with Spider-Man, he is concerned with getting the truth out. He just doesn't quite know what it is. Honestly, most people would probably be on his side with Spider-Man. Like, just logically. If a guy with superpowers wearing a mask came out of nowhere, then yeah, that would be worrisome. But recently, the heart of Jameson is kind of starting to fade. No, don't get me wrong, he's still the same character that we've known since 1963. He's still developing, he's still got the same history and the same baggage wearing him down and lifting him up. But during the Spider-Man game from 2018 on the PS4, you're introduced to this universe's version of Jameson. This Jameson runs a podcast called Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson. He will come on periodically throughout playtime where he will talk about Spider-Man and the goings-ons of the city. This Jameson, however, is more embittered than we're used to seeing him. He's not really saying any facts. He's saying what he saw on the news, and he's just yelling them into a microphone. Now, if this sounds familiar to any of you, then chances are it's because of a man by the name Alex Jones. Alex Jones likes to consider himself a news reporter, although that is somewhat of a questionable claim, to say the least. He often makes false claims that can, in fact, hurt people and have hurt people. He is angry and belligerent and yells into his microphone a lot, just like Jameson is shown to be in the game. Now, Jameson and Alex Jones are two very different people. They are completely different. Now, there are a few things with this. For one, we know Jameson's background. We have an omniscient view of Jameson's world. We don't have that same thing with Alex Jones. So we don't exactly have the same narrative with him and the same perspective on his life. We can't feel that same connection to him. And we don't know when to feel sorry for him, when to feel resentful of him. We don't have that same connection. So it is difficult to compare a fictional character to a real life character like this. Certain things are blocked off. But still, the parallels are clear. Obviously, the creators of the Spider-Man game were drawing the comparison between J. Jonah Jameson and Alex Jones. Angry old white men with a podcast spewing nonsense about the world. It is pretty painfully obvious. Now, in the game, it is kind of fun to hear. Jameson is just so hilariously over the top. It's hard to not get lost in it and have a few laughs with just how ridiculous it is. Kind of like, when you look up clips of Alex Jones and he's spouting some nonsense about literally anything. I could say pretty much anything right here, and Alex Jones has probably said something about it. But despite how memeable Alex Jones may be, we can't forget how awful some of the things he's done have been. He's not the antagonistic comic relief that Jameson is. Because really, that's what Jameson is. He is antagonistic comic relief. He offers an obstacle to Spider-Man. He is antagonistic, but he's not a bad guy. He's never actually done anything that is absolutely horrible. Alright, he's created a few robots to try and kill Spider-Man and the like. Oh, he also funded Scorpion. But still, they're not as bad as what Alex Jones has done. Now, the commentary is obvious, and it doesn't necessarily feel out of place. In the world that we live in, commentary like that is somewhat needed. It's craved for by many people. And it makes sense. It does fit to a degree. But Jameson is an actual legitimate reporter. There have been stories featuring Jameson as a war correspondent during World War II, and then eventually the Korean War and Vietnam, and so on and so forth, as the timeline continues to move forward. Alex Jones, on the other hand, is just a conspiracy theorist on the internet. That's all he is. He is not a legitimate reporter. He has nothing legitimate to say. So the comparison between J. Jonah Jameson and Alex Jones isn't quite as strong as it would first seem. Because while Jameson is a high-ranking newspaper publisher, Alex Jones is just a guy. A guy who has built a platform up for himself and who has many people listening to him, but he's very unprofessional. He doesn't have the same kind of experience that Jameson does. And Jameson has a level of prestige to him. He has gone up the ranks of newspaper publishing. And while Marvel's might not exactly be canon, and it's a question whether or not it's really J. Jonah Jameson in the few panels where it would appear that it's J. Jonah Jameson, he does show himself to be a young reporter working his way up, taking whatever stories he can get, working hard to become the professional that he is in the modern day stories. Alex Jones just isn't like that. And this comparison doesn't stop with the Spider-Man game. When J.K. Simmons reprised his role as J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man Far From Home, the comparison is even stronger. Not only is he the talk host of a controversial internet news program, he's bald now, and he looks more like Alex Jones. Almost more like Alex Jones than he looks like J. Jonah Jameson, which is odd considering it's still J.K. Simmons, and he owned that role for so many years. And now Jameson is shifting into the role of a radio host in the mainstream comics universe. Now, through various events that have happened in the Spider-Man stories of the past few years, Jameson knows Spider-Man's identity and is trying to assist him in some way. So the comparison does blur a little. However, it still feels like the layers that have been built upon Jameson for the past 6 decades almost are slowly being stripped away so that he can resemble Alex Jones more and more. He can be angrier and more belligerent and less of a legitimate news reporter. We are watching the devolution of J. Jonah Jameson into a muddled mess that is Alex Jones. Now, like I said before, we don't have the same insight into Alex Jones as we do into Jameson because we don't have that omniscient sense that we can with Jameson due to the fact that Jameson is fictional. So there's plenty that we're missing on Alex Jones. There's only so much of his history that we know, but from what we can tell, he's just his persona that he puts on InfoWars and everything else that he does. He is not J. Jonah Jameson, at least not J. Jonah Jameson at his core. Now, I understand the importance of needing to stay relevant and having this conversation about what is happening with the world of media. But is Jameson really the right character to do it with? Or at least, is he the right one to turn into Alex Jones? Wouldn't it be better if there was a new character created that takes the role of Alex Jones and is just as bombastic and ridiculous as Alex Jones is in real life, and then we can watch Jameson kind of recoil from this and realize, yeah, I've said some of these things. I haven't exactly been the best person when it comes to reporting the news, but I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to go through the correct channels to do the right thing. And this new guy is coming in here and he's just causing problems to cause problems. He's just trying to make people angry and spread hatred and chaos. We can watch Jameson try to work with this, try to understand who he is, what news is, what the world is. All while being a commentary on what people like Alex Jones are doing to American media. But I don't know. Maybe I'm stressing this too much. I don't know. But the comparison, it's strange to me. Marvel is really turning J. Jonah Jameson into Alex Jones, and I don't really like it. I should have said that at the beginning, now that I think about it, but that's fine. Anyway, leave your thoughts about this down in the comments below. And that's all I have for today. Hope everyone has a great day, and goodbye, everybody.